How did you get to the place where you started, really working on your physique?
Someone came up to me and they had told me that I should compete. I was like, no, I'm not that sure of myself. Because going to the gym, even though I was weak or I didn't feel good enough, it was a part of me that once I left the gym, I automatically felt better. I'm doing this for me. I always had a joke. I love being a dad. He's 14 right now. I don't know how much I love that.
I fucking hate reading. There's nothing worse than reading except for running. I hate running too.
Between a set, that's when I'll first look at my phone.
So you have time between sets?
Oh shit. Why do we focus on the judgment that might come from it versus the thing that they can gain?
There's a lot that goes into physique competitions that people don't even realize.
You said something to me that really hit home.
The key is always, I think, as an athlete, to what does this version of you that's just, done the show and getting ready for another one say to the person on the other side that's, maybe having the same thoughts that you were having?
Like what I'll tell anybody is,
welcome to episode 1 of our new show. She is Lais and I am the coach. And that is the name of our show.
First of all, if there's ever been a time for personal bubble, this is it.
We will always stay true to what we do. What you're doing is going to get you to the next place. And throw the list away. It's only a matter of time before you cave.
You can look way better than you used to.
Such a great experience.
Well, like it knows everything you've given.
Shown curiosity. What if it actually works?
I've been chopped down como persona.
100%.
An extra
You're sitting right now. Sometimes it is a member.
Welcome, everybody. Peace out, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Lais and The Coach. And tonight, as promised, we have a new episode. And we were just chatting about New Year's resolutions and taking notes.
Yes.
And we will get into that in a few minutes. But first, Jadiam, welcome to the show.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So he just competed at the NPC Clash back in November. But where I'd like to start is as far back as we can go with where your journey starts. How did you get into the whole working out thing? What inspired you? What motivated you? How did you get to the place where you started, really working on your physique?
Oh, all right. So that goes way back. I'm gonna put my age out there then.
Let's go.
So I used to always go to the gym, right, when I was younger, in my 20s. But I really wasn't that focused. I did everything the wrong way. I listened to the wrong people. It was all about lifting and, I thought going to McDonald's and having chicken nuggets, I was doing the right thing. It was protein.
And chicken.
Yeah, it was protein. I had protein. I was good. Just don't have the fries. And now I have all the fries in the world. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started back then, but it really wasn't, I didn't have a grasp of my body until I was overseas in Iraq. So when I was overseas in Iraq, life over there is very mundane. There's days that it's interesting and there's days that it's very boring. So I started creating a habit, but not intentionally, it was unintentionally. So I would wake up every day at 5:30 in the morning to go to the gym and do cardio.
Okay.
And then we'll all meet up with the fire department and we'll have breakfast. And because the food over there was so bad, I started realizing I was gaining weight and I wasn't feeling good. So I never ate vegetables before. Well, when in Iraq, I started eating all my vegetables raw, right? I started liking them. I started eating just egg whites just because it was the safest thing to have there, or boiled eggs, a lot of salads. So that started changing the way I would eat. Obviously, being over there, there's no drinking. So I didn't drink for 2.5 years.
Wow.
That really changed me as well.
Yeah.
Is it like against the law?
Yeah. You can't be drinking on base. Certain people do, but that's, I guess, their privilege. But like for us in the department, no, we couldn't drink at all. Every now and then they had like fake beer that had no alcohol, kind of like what like Heineken has now, things of that nature. So some guys would drink that, I guess, to get that sensation. That wasn't me. So I picked up that habit of going to the gym every day for about 2 years, let's say, at 5:30 in the morning. That was just to do cardio. Then when I was done with my shift, even though we were always on, we worked 24 hours, pretty much 6 days out of the week, and you only had 1 day off. So I would go back to the gym when everything would die out around 6 p.m. And that's when I would lift. That's when I started drinking pre-workouts. I remember the only thing that we got up over there was Endo Explode. So it was just drink that, go to the gym. So I started picking up the habits, and I started meeting different guys here that would do different type of techniques of like lifting. So I started really learning, compound that with the way I was eating, I started seeing a big difference in me, right?
Okay.
But I was limited, right? The food was limited. I did cheat over there a lot. Like I will have a lot of like sweets. So when I got here in 2013, I recall, I think it was like the first week in here, I went with my brother, my uncle, my cousins. We went to a gentleman's club and we got bottles, we drank. I think 2 drinks had me so drunk that when I got home the next morning, when I woke up, I said, never again. And that's why to this day, you will see me have a glass of wine with you guys, but you're not going to see me drink. Right.
That's it.
I started putting what I learned over there. From the moment I got here, I was going to the gym at 5 a.m. I was going to 24-hour fitness down in Town and Country. I would get there in the morning, work out, pick up my son, and then I was ready for the rest of the day. And I started eating a lot better. And I really got into shape. I really started looking, my physique was looking pretty good at that time. And I was like 33, 34 years old. So someone came up to me back then and they had told me that I should compete. So I was like, no, I'm not that sure of myself. I still have those doubts. I still have those doubts. Like, this is very personal. You're putting yourself out there, right? And in your head, you think people are judging you, which they are. But really, it's not about anybody judging you. But that's how I took it. So I never had, I was never brave enough to get on stage. But I just kept working out because it was a part of me. It didn't matter if I woke up sick. It didn't matter if I woke up, I would drink Dayquil and go to the gym. Because going to the gym, even though I was weak or I didn't feel good enough, it was a part of me that once I left the gym, I automatically felt better. There was never a day that I would wake up and be like, you know what, today I'm not going to go. No, I'm going. I might not do anything. I might walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes, grab some 20-pound dumbbells, do a little bit of something, not feel anything. But at least when I left, I was like, that was productive rather than staying home. So that's the habit I created. And as I've gotten older, I've picked up so many different habits now. And they're positive habits. And you can tell the change that is done. So that's how the whole fitness thing started with me. It was just something personally for me. I'm doing this for me. It wasn't to look good. I always had a joke, right? I said, I need to have abs because I'm short and I'm bald. So I have nothing else going for me. So maybe I just have some type of physique. And that was me always working out, I also like the idea that my younger brothers, they would look at me, they would joke around, but, they will comment on my physique or me working out. And they always wanted to say, they've always said something like, oh, when I get to your age, hopefully we can look like, because they were a little heavier on the heavier side. So things like that, it was just like, I'm doing something good for myself. Obviously, it rubs off on other people. I have, brothers, everybody working out, doing things for the healthier reason, not just for looks. And that's how it started with me. Yeah.
I think there's so many things in everything that you said that like is one of the, like a lot of the missing ingredients to why people don't have more sustainability. Like the habits that you developed were good for you and they weren't for anything else other than for you, and which is the biggest reason why you were able to stick through them. Along the way, as you got better, got more into the gym world, you said you picked up some more stuff. Like what else did you start doing?
Well, it was funny. Well, I had a lot of trouble dating because I was the guy that would go out and be like, no, I really can't eat that right now. I gotta go. What are you training for? Nothing, I'm just training for me. I know that pizza, those 3 slices are not gonna feel good for me. So I started learning how to do it, like listen to my body. I think your body can tell you everything. When there's something wrong, when something's not feeling correct, maybe your leg, it doesn't matter. If you listen to your body, you can tell a lot. So I picked up the habits of eating healthier, right? And those habits were, it's not because I don't want to enjoy food, It was more because I just know eating excess of this is not going to do me good, because tomorrow I'm going to feel groggy. I'm going to feel down. And it's all about starting your day with a win, right? You want to wake up, automatically win the morning. And if you win the morning, then you win the rest of your day. So what I started picking up was positive habits, positive affirmations, things to look forward to, as well as I picked up the habit of not reading books because I haven't got an F-bar, but audiobooks. Audiobooks are the best thing that's happened.
I fucking hate reading. There's
Yes.
nothing worse than reading except for running. I hate running too. Two tasks that, like, I don't know how people wake up and run, and I don't know how people wake up and read. No, thank you. So I'm with you on the audio.
No, yeah. So audiobooks, and it was those habits of like of just putting the steps forward of believing in yourself, doing the things you have to do. And along that journey, I also put myself in a weekend seminar. It was, it was really about working on your like self-motivation, on business, like, entrepreneurs, things of that nature. And that really opened my eyes to the point of like, I have an Instagram now. I post videos, on a daily basis, when that wasn't me. You put me back in when I was 33 years old and I got back from Iraq, and I did have an Instagram before I closed it because I was like, this is wasting my time. I would try to promote fitness by putting like little quotes or a picture, a very horrible picture of me with a little quote like motivation. And I thought that was motivating people. But no, the best way to motivate anybody is by example. Mm-hmm. So put yourself out there, be positive, and there's someone out there in this world that needs you. There's so many, we have billions of people in this world. So I picked that up, and I was able to have that confidence of putting myself out there, putting my videos. And that really led to you guys, having that confidence to finally be like, okay, you know what, let me give this a shot. And other things that I do, which I never did, was I write everything. The day before, I write all my tasks for the next day. That's another thing I picked up in the seminar.
And when we got on this call, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was taking the time now because usually I do it right before bed. So there's a couple things I do. I might be weird, but right before bed, I write my notes of what I have to do tomorrow, right? And then I put little stars on the ones that, like, hey, if I can get this done, by all means, great. Then I get my clothes ready for the gym for tomorrow morning. Put that in the bathroom. That's one less thing I gotta worry about, one less thing I gotta think about, right? So then when I wake up in the morning, it's really just bathroom, weigh myself for you, weigh myself, because I never used to weigh myself, weigh myself, and I have the clothes there. I don't have to think. I get dressed and I'm off to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, So it's those repetitive things that I do that really help me already, I guess, get a head start of the day without having to, One thing I also do is I try not to open my phone within the first 30 minutes of my day. So outside of looking at the time, I'm in the bathroom, I'm doing my stuff. I come to the kitchen, I drink my water, I get ready. I turn on my computers to get ready for work. Even though it's 5 a.m, I get everything ready, making sure there's no hiccups, and then I leave to the gym. And then maybe when I'm a little bored in the gym between a set, that's when I'll first look at my phone. So
you have time between sets?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I gotta walk to a machine to the other machine. I go to Shula's, man. You give me these workouts that they're not next to each other.
So there's some stuff that you said there. Like, one is how you were talking about your Instagram. There's always someone that you can inspire or motivate, or someone that connects with you. And same thing with what you said, like somebody watching or listening can hear I write the things that I need to get done the night before, so that I wake up the next day with intention or with intent on the things that need to get executed. It does set you up to win the day when you walk into the next day with a plan.
And sometimes we don't think about sharing those things because to us they're just normal or they're weird, right? Like I have so many things too, like that are so weird that I do that are just like the way that I function, and they don't work for everybody. Like half the shit I do doesn't work for him, right? And vice versa. But it's like sometimes sharing things that you would never think that anyone's gonna like be interested in or pay attention to. They're like, oh, I could do that, or that's a good idea. So I love that because a lot of times we don't share things because we're afraid of judgment, when
Correct.
like we should be more afraid of not, gifting someone good energy, tips and ideas and anything positive. Like why do we focus on the judgment that might come from it versus the thing that they can gain,
Right. And there was a couple of things that you said there. So you turn on the computer at morning for work. Can we talk about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a nurse. So pretty much my job is online, reviewing cases, pretty much managing my team, support, I guess you can call it customer support. It's pretty boring, not too much to talk about. Basically, I manage a team that handles calls, handles tickets, and handles patients, right?
Okay.
But pretty much everything comes through me. I just make sure that everything's being done correctly before it gets sent off. But while I'm doing that, I'm also doing schoolwork. So hopefully nobody in my job listens to this.
Is listening.
But yeah, so I'm also doing schoolwork because obviously, as you guys know, I'm finishing my practitioner. So
Right. And you also said before that you're a dad.
yeah, I love being a dad. Well, he's 14 right now. I don't know how much I love that. Man. But no, I have a son. He's amazing. He's not with me today. He's with his mother. But yeah, so pretty much my day consists of waking up, doing the routines that I've just told you, going to the gym. When he's here, sleeping here, he's old enough, I leave him sleeping. He gets up on his own. He gets dressed on his own. So I tell him I'm leaving the gym. He walks down by 6:30 in the morning. I take him straight to high school. Drop him off at high school. I come here, home. I have a window between 7-ish to about 8 in the morning to do my reels for Instagram. So that's where I figure out, okay, what's a good workout that I can do right now? Even though I already worked out at the gym, what's something I can do right now? Let's go ahead and get a reel up, to the public. And then
And for anybody that doesn't know, Jadiam puts out reels daily on quick things that you could do at home. And I'll put your Instagram handle in the show notes.
Thank you.
And how did you get into, well, two-part question. How did you get into doing these reels and how did you get into kettlebells?
Yeah. So kettlebells, in 2020, while COVID was going on, we decided to take a Thanksgiving trip, the family, to Breckenridge. So my brother snowboarded and I decided to learn how to snowboard. But due to COVID, there were no group lessons, only private lessons that were like $900. I'm sorry, I can't afford that. So I was like, all right, YouTube.
Figure it out.
Okay, this is how you balance. This is how I turn this way. This is how I turn that way. I got on the bunny slopes with one of my brothers. I got up 5 times. I don't think I made it past 2 feet without falling. And I got tired of having to walk back up to the bunny slopes. And so I talked to my brother. He was like, as long as you can get off the lift, we can work our way down the mountain. And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. No, it wasn't. So we went to a green, very safe. I was able to get off the lift, no problem, didn't fall. But then the rest of the way down, it was just fall after fall until right at the end that I felt like I was getting the balance. I even thought I was going fast. And I looked at my brother, I was like, I'm going fast. And he was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I was like, in my head, I was flying. And I had a crazy wipeout that I tore both of my shoulders. Obviously didn't know that at that moment. I was in pain, came back home, and I went to lift and I couldn't do anything over my shoulder. I couldn't even do a push-up. And I was like, oh, wow. All right, well, I'm a nurse. Let me do physical therapy on myself. So I started doing all the things that I know that works. And I started getting more range of motion, but it was still hurting. Until one day at the gym, I saw kettlebells. I've been walking by them all my life. And I looked at them, I go, what is this for? So I started Googling, I started looking, and I started seeing these different workouts. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start using them. So I started learning how to use the kettlebells, and instantly I started feeling stronger. My shoulders felt better. They were still hurting a little bit. So that's when I decided finally after a year and another snowboard trip, I decided to go back. Yeah, because I didn't give up on snowboarding. I still snowboard, and I leave in 2 months to go back. I've gotten better. I don't fall as bad, but I still fall. And so I went to the doctor. He did the MRI. That's when he told me, yeah, you have torn shoulders. But you look good. Like, you can rehab them. Just try not to pick up them, like anything really heavy over your shoulder yet. So I was like, all right, I'll keep doing the regular therapy, but I just kept doing kettlebells because traditional lifting was boring to me, right? There was a lot of things I couldn't do. Next thing you know, I started feeling stronger and stronger with kettlebells, to the point that when I met you, I only did kettlebells from home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did everything from home, really wasn't even going into the gym, just because I bought a bunch of kettlebells, I got stronger. And it really wasn't until I got with you, going back to the gym and doing traditional lifting, that I realized, oh, wow, like I can lift again. Not to the degree where I used to, but I know I can get there. I already saw, I saw the opening. I'm like, I can definitely get there, compounding little by little, but I can definitely get back to where I used to, lift even heavier. So that's how I started with the whole kettlebells. I recommend kettlebells to everybody. That's why I do my Instagram with just kettlebell home workouts, or just body weight. Anything you can do, anything to get the heart rate racing. And yeah, and I've met so many people now in the community of kettlebells that have had similar issues with shoulder injuries, and they've done rehab with kettlebells, and now they're amazing. So yeah, so I recommend everybody to use kettlebells. Obviously, you have to learn, make sure you're using the proper form, but yeah.
That's a cool story.
And how did you get into doing reels for that? Were you doing the reels before and it just was a byproduct?
So like I stated earlier, when I was in my 30s, I had an Instagram and I wanted to promote, health and fitness, but the way I did it was with pictures, right? So this time around, I started again with pictures, right? But in my head, I was like, I'm going to get over the hump. I am going to definitely put something of me lifting. I just don't know where, because I don't want to be that guy in the gym with a camera and everybody I'm the one. I walk by them like, what are you doing, bro? Right? So I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, like, really. But then I realized that I need to keep myself accountable. There's no way I can promote nothing. There's no way I can promote health. And really, it comes down to keeping myself accountable and having my son, who's 14, catch on to that and see, like, okay, this is what my dad's doing. When he comes from school, or when he sends me a text from school, hey, Dad, when you pick me up today, can you set me up a workout? That to me is the best.
The win, yeah.
That's it. Doesn't matter if he's not doing that much. It's just, I want him to pick up, that consistency of, like, treating yourself better. It's not about getting strong or muscular. It's just health. Do it. It makes you feel good at the end of the day anyways.
Yeah.
So I wanted to keep myself accountable. I started slowly, again, with those pictures. And then I think I added 1 or 2 videos of myself. And then I went to that seminar. And that seminar challenged everybody in their own personal way. And they had a challenge of, like, when you leave this seminar, you have 90 days to figure out and do something that you really are afraid of doing. And I was like, 90 days? Shit. The next morning, I was at the gym in the hotel in Denver. I don't know how many takes I had to do, because I kept fumbling words. I always fumble words anyways. I was looking at myself, and it was me doing a live story, telling everybody why I'm on here, what am I trying to do. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to catch you, even though maybe one day I could sell something. But right now, this is not about selling. It's about me being accountable. And hopefully I inspire you guys to do something. I'm 42 years old. I said that. I was like, you don't have to wait until you're younger, or if you're too old, doesn't mean you can't lift. Take care of yourself. So I did that right there. Like, I didn't wait the 90 days. And it was funny because I came back to the seminar and I was like, oh, I already did it. I'm really scared of putting myself out there. So I did it. And some of the people that were already following me, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you did it. But now I was like, what do I do now? I have 89 days left. what do I do? But then I was like, you know what? Just grow from it. Just keep growing. So I started getting a little bit more used to doing videos. I got horrible feedback from some guys. I didn't have proper form yet with kettlebells until finally, thankfully, my page got hacked. Something was going on. I was getting a bunch of followers that were fake. I started deleting people. Instagram restricted my account for me removing fake accounts, to the point that I was like, you know what? Turn it off. grabbed the new one. And at that moment, I was so confident in myself that I was like, all right, no, this is to keep myself accountable. You know, if I can do it daily, I will, but it's always weekly, right? I was like, and it's just something else for me to add, another reason for me to wake up and continue on with being healthy, right? Because we can say we do all the right things, but then behind closed doors, we're not doing it. Right. So I don't want to be that guy that tells people and preaches to people, no, take care of yourself, go to the gym, just do that, you know? And then I'm sitting on the couch.
Right.
So yeah, that's the main reason of doing the reels. And it's gotten to the point that it's blown up, you know, like, I don't even know why. I have some videos and I'm like, all right, great. And then I have some that the one that I think is amazing, it's not.
Never.
Always like that.
And then the one that I'm like, this is something I wanted to do. Let me just do it on the fly. And it was just like, boom, viral. I was like, so obviously there's a tension out there. There's people that want it. There's people that have given me their stories on Instagram, very inspirational to me. So I always give the best advice I can, honest advice, and keep it going.
I love that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So then fast forward. So the story starts to tie in, because you said years ago somebody said that you should compete or ask you about competing. So where does the idea, did the idea ever leave, or was it on hold, or how is it that the idea resurfaces?
The idea went to sleep.
Okay.
very long sleeping. It was just back there. It was more of like, again, I wasn't sure of myself. I wasn't confident that I can do it, right? You know, Lord knows, you get up there and people look at you in a certain way, and now I feel like bad for myself. So it started with me being more confident with myself. But really the inspiration was my girlfriend, Annie. So she did her show. Well, first thing first, funny story. She might kill me because I'm saying this now, but whatever, it's live. So she told me one day, I always invited her to F45. I was going to F45 only on the weekends. And I told her, come with me. And she was like, no, I feel intimidated to work out with you. And I was like, no, you shouldn't, let's go. And she worked out with me. Then out of nowhere, because she really never worked out, she did work out, like she did yoga, she did Pilates, I think, things of that nature. But as far as going to the gym, traditional gym, or even F45, she didn't do that. And then out of nowhere, she tells me that she met up with her friend, which is Lais, and that her husband, and they do this, and that she was getting ready. And I was under the impression she was doing like a marathon.
Okay.
I thought she was doing like one of those strong, like Amelia Earhart Park's little Gatorade, or, you know, Rogue, you know, Spartan.
Like a mud run.
That's what I thought she was doing. So I was like, okay. Until finally she tells me, I think I found out like a couple weeks before when she went up to Orlando that I went up there with her for the first time. And that's when I was like, what are you doing? What do you mean a workshop? A workshop? Like in my head, Spartan? And she was like, no, I'm gonna compete. And I was like, bodybuilding? And the sleeping giant woke up, and I was like, what? And knowing who Annie is, and knowing that that's really putting herself outside of the box, I was like, oh, I'll support you. Like, but I was still shocked. Like, I was still confused, right? Like when she told me wellness, I didn't know about wellness category. She's like, no, it's something new. I go, that's how long I've been out of it, like not really looking into it. So she does it. I see her transformation working with you. Obviously, again, the person that I knew prior, they did everything with like boiled chicken, rice, you know, broccoli, asparagus. Yeah. That's it. You know, walk around with 2 gallons every day. And it was, I see her having Oreo cookies at night and eating this, but in a good portion. And I was like, okay, let me see how this is going to work out. Because at the same time, I was doing my own macros on my own.
Right.
Right. Obviously, I was doing it through an app, but I was keeping myself through the macros. I'll keep myself in shape. And when I saw you in the show that day, and I saw how amazing and beautiful she looked, I was like, you know what? This is awesome. I was like, and this is for her. It's not about winning. This is for her. And I was like, this is amazing. And that's why that day in the show, even though I offered myself to you, telling you, if you have room, you know, her next, because I already knew she was going to do another one without even asking her, another competition. So I was like, for her next prep, I'll prep with her. I'm not getting on stage. I think I even told you, I go, that ain't for me. I was like, but I'll do the prep with her so we can do something together. Like, you know, we go out together, not the same foods, but we're still prepping.
Right.
And you told me, no, I have no room. I was like, oh, cool. That's fine. You know, I'll keep prepping my own way. And then when you finally told me on Instagram that, yeah, like you can take me on and we met, in my head, I was like, I've told everybody I wouldn't do it. I even told her I wasn't going to do it. I go, that's why my mom always said, you don't spit up in the air. It's going to come right back at you.
Oh my God, story of my fucking life. Story of my life.
So that's why I was like, but then when you came back, I kind of put it up to the energy. Like I like to be all about the energy of the world. So I put it up to the energy. If it's meant to be, let me reach out to you, because I reached out to you on Instagram. I told you, look, this is my page. I don't know if maybe I kind of did it like, maybe you check out my page, see I'm decently fit, and you're like, okay, I can work with this guy. He's serious. And maybe you'll come after me. I don't know. But when you told me you would take me on, I saw that as a sign. I was like, all right, we got to do this. My idea was WBFF, right? Just to be on stage with Annie once. That's it.
Right.
It was to be on stage with her. Same day, everything just on stage. And that's how the journey started.
I love it. I love that story. I can't believe you didn't know exactly what she was doing. Oh my God.
No, I thought it was Spartan. I swear that was something like that. I was like, he's giving her like some type of things to do in the gym so she can get ready for that cardio. That's what I thought.
So I got to tell you, like, you know, one of the things is people start at all different levels, right? Like I've worked with people that have never worked out, like ever.
In 40 years of life.
And they walk in and they're like, I want to do a show. And I'm like, okay,
You?
like, we got a lot to work with here. But one of the things was, and tying it all together, was all the habits that you had already created, right? All the things that were already set in stone were 90% of the reason that when you started, like it was so weak, because it was just a new plan, right? It's like, I'm going to do these things every day, but now I have a new mission, you know, new set of instruction. Now I just do these. You did everything, you know, every meal, every, like all of it. And we'll talk about like some of the journey stuff, but the way that your body responded, you know, and the volume of food that you were able to consume compared to what you were eating before, you know, like even you were like, I can't understand how I can eat all this food.
I had it backwards.
And you looked amazing.
Right.
And I think a lot of times, you know, people might listen to these or see our posts and be like, yeah, everybody does everything. Like, no, everybody does not do it.
Everybody does not do it.
You know, and you could still get a great outcome.
Of course.
But without doing everything, because life, right? And different personalities and different stages in life. But I think you're so right. Like where you already were mentally and in terms of your habits and your behaviors really like catapulted you to.
But I think even just really quick before I ask my next question, even what you just said, because you said it, you know, if you would wake up with a cold, you'd take some Dayquil and you'd rather go to the gym and walk on the treadmill and do some light work than nothing. I think one of the things that most people don't get is that even the most minimal work compounded over time is going to produce an outcome, right? The challenge is always when someone wants this, you know, 10 out of 10 outcome, right? They want to be all the way over there, but they're doing the minimal work, you know, and there's a level of unhappiness with the work that's being done versus the thing that they actually want, and they're missing the dots, you know, they're not connecting those dots. Because I think that no matter what, if you exercised every day, all you did was walk, right? Let's say you did your cold workout and you went on the treadmill and walked for 15 minutes and did some pump work with 20s over the course of 365 days, there would be an outcome, you know, no matter what. Now, is it going to be what you got out of, you know, the time that you put in? No, it's not. But then you've got to be able to connect the dots and say, I'm not putting in that work. why am I expecting that?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
like
100%.
where are we lost there?
Yeah. It gets
Anyway,
lost
I
all
went
the
on a
time.
tangent.
It gets lost. Thank you
So-
for making my TED talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But along the way, what was prep-wise, right? What did you find to be the most challenging or difficult or different that wasn't even what close to what you thought during the time that you were prepping for that show?
Difficult, I would say, creating the new habit of it's okay to weigh yourself every morning and not judge yourself. Because I never weighed myself. Didn't care for it. I can look in the mirror and I know how I'm looking.
Right.
But I didn't know about data. I didn't know about the numbers. You know, I've learned so much with you and I have so much more to learn from you. But that's really what it was the hardest thing. Like, oh my God, I went up 1.5 pounds. What did I eat wrong? What's going on here?
Right.
You know, sometimes I'll send you 2 weights. I go, hey, buddy, this is my second one. And you'll be like,
Right.
you know, like, because it was a process of like, I'm gaining weight. I'm gaining weight. Why am I getting? But obviously, I'm gaining muscle.
Right.
And then it fluctuates. So then you realize, okay, just go with the process. Keep eating your meals. You know, that was the most difficult part for me. Everything else was super easy.
Really quick, I love what you said about judging yourself with the scale, because earlier when we first started talking, you said, you know, why would someone like want to go up there to get judged? Like, that's so scary. And I think that what people don't realize is that the real judgment that we all fear is the one of ourselves. Like,
Correct. Mm-hmm.
we are so much more afraid of the judgment that we are going to cast on ourselves for the work we're putting in, for how we look, for the weight on the scale, for the who do I think I am, for the now I got to learn how to pose, like insert thing, right? Like, this journey isn't scary because other people are going to judge you. This journey is scary because you're going to judge you. And that is always the worst criticism, is the one that comes from yourself.
Yeah, no,
You know?
I agree. I think this journey makes you go at war with yourself. 100%. This is you versus you.
Yes.
And that's something I used to always hashtag back in the day, you know, me versus me. But now I really believe it because it's really you versus you. I can then coach all the pictures of all my meals and not really have none of those meals.
Of course.
At the end of the day, who are you lying to? So at the end of the day, it comes back to just regular life. Forget fitness. If you're authentic to yourself, if you're humble to yourself, and if you're open to learn, even though sometimes we're human and, you know, especially me, I'm hard-headed sometimes, but you allow to open yourself and just take everything in and be authentic, then you have nothing to worry about because you are in a good place. So that right there was, you know, the hardest thing for me. Like my weight, I'm judging myself, but I'm not, right? Everything else, like I said, was easy. The foods were easy. The training was amazing just because it was something now structured for me for a certain reason, something that it's one thing to go to the gym and say, yeah, today's chest day. Let me find a couple of things to do in chest. And today's back, you know, but when you have a structure, then it's a different ballgame. So I've learned so much from there to the point that now I can carry it to this prep, right? Because I did things wrong last prep compared to how I'm doing it now. And I mean by working out, you know, there was some things that, you know, now there's more intention involved, right? All my life, 42 years old of lifting? No, not 42. I would have been a baby. Meaning, like, let's say 22 years of lifting. I never try to have a mind and muscle connection.
Right. Because it doesn't make any sense. Right?
And now you know how you look.
But the funny part is, I'll tell you something, because, you know, one of the things that there's 2 points, and I want to get back to weighing yourself with the muscle, but it's interesting how in all sports, right, when a guy scores a touchdown or hits a basket, all athletes hit a front double bicep, right? It represents victory. In the gym, rarely do you see guys flexing because they're afraid of, like, all right, who's looking at me? So they never flex. Yet the thing that you want is for that muscle to pop, you know, and then you spend so much time trying to get to look a certain way by doing the work, but you never connect that you've got to squeeze that muscle to feel it so that it connects better. And And it's usually back to the judgment thing,
Yeah.
like rarely, and I'm sure you see it, right? Because you see it all the time.
You don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy flexing in the mirror, but most of the guys should be flexing in the mirror so that they feel what it is they're doing,
Yeah.
Correct.
you know?
Yeah.
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 But anyway, touching back on the scale thing, I don't think that people realize ever, and I don't know why, that if the number on the scale went up or down, it's not always fat related, right? Never has someone ever said, hey, the scale went up 2 pounds. Do you think it's muscle? Like, never have I gotten a text like that.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm gaining muscle? Like, with excitement. It's always tied to negativity.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know?
Even when the
Because
goal
we're-
is to go up.
We're wired that way. Like as a society, we're brought up from kids, no matter what culture you come from, unless you come from like, a very humble culture, you're brought up with the negativity. You're brought up with what scares you and what to avoid. So you're automatically already reverting to being negative.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, and breaking that is really hard.
Right.
He says it all the
I
time.
say it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
He's like, it's easier for me to change someone's religion probably than their belief with the scale.
Correct.
I can get somebody to believe in just about anything, but to change their relationship with the scale and with
The
food,
good food, the bad food.
oof, that takes some work, you know? And I'm not even making shit up, like,
It's science, people.
but anyway, so along the way, you get on this prep, you do the thing. When did it become really real for you that you were actually going to get on stage? Was it during the prep? Was it when you got to the hotel?
Was it when you tanned?
It felt real throughout. Annie kept getting like asking me, are you nervous? Are you nervous? And I was like, no. In my head, I'm a little nervous in the sense of like, am I gonna trip? Right?
Right.
Am I gonna stand wrong? Right? When I did posing with you, I will go too fast because I was nervous. Am I gonna go too fast? Right? That's the only thing that was in my head, but it wasn't being nervous. It was me programming myself, telling me, chill, breathe, enjoy that little moment, even if it's 40 seconds or 20 seconds, just enjoy the moment. So along the way, I was fine. I think maybe until we got to like week 10 or 8, that I was like, all right, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, I look way better than I did before. But then that's when I started judging myself again, like, I'm not there yet. I need to get better, for myself. Because you judge yourself with other people, and you shouldn't, because no guy is my height. No guy has my physique. Everybody's different in their own way, right?
Yeah.
So you can't compare yourself with that guy because you're going to automatically lose already, right? So then I had to tell myself, okay, what do I need to do for myself? How do I need to look at myself? And I went back to like, it's not about winning because I'm not getting on stage to try to win. I'm 42 years old, so it's not like I'm coming at a 20-year-old with crazy, massive muscle. It takes a little longer for me now to build that muscle. But it was really more of like, all right, I'm a lot better now than when I started this prep. And I can only imagine how I'm going to look the day of the show. So around week 10, 8 is when I started being like, okay, I was getting excited. Like, I can't wait to see. I think one of the days in the warehouse at the workout with you, I just finished eating a juicy burger that night with fries at that bar with Annie. And the next morning we were posing and I was like looking shredded.
Mhm.
And I was like, you were like, that's with the burger last night. And I was like, so I felt good. So now it was more in my head, like, all right, this is going to be real. So I better get this posing on point, which is very hard. Very hard. Still working on it to this day. But so I was like, I need to get this posing because I don't want to get up there and look like a total lost case. Because you see people in stages in WBFF and NPC, they're just lost.
Mhm.
I at least want to have some type of, order to go. And since I'm very like, I'm a process type of guy, like I'm a task oriented type of guy. I know that I need to go there. And if I have to step on my right foot, then turn left. I need to have some type of process just so I can guide myself. Right.
Right.
But never got nervous. It was more of the excitement of what could be, that's why now my excitement of what will be is like, there's a lot of pressure on you, coach. There's a lot of pressure. I'm gonna say,
We say it all the time. We have so many people that say that. Tiffany was saying that the other day, and I've even said it to them, like to him. I don't know, like how we're gonna get better from here, but you got to figure it out. Need to top it somehow, you know, every time.
So when you got to the venue, we ended up getting to registration at the same time. Did the realness heighten when all the other athletes are around and you're waiting for your number, or were you still like good?
It was super chill. I remember like we were at the
Chill.
lobby.
It was cool to see you guys. It was like a movie. I'm like in line and I look out and see you guys coming down the escalator. I'm like, oh my God. Like I didn't realize you guys were gonna be filming. I'm like, Lais keeps having the camera. I'm like, oh Lord. I think I got more nervous when I saw you filming everything that I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna say? Because I tend to say some fucked up shit sometimes. So
Hello.
but I'm trying to be proper here. I'm like, she has a camera. I'm like, that had me more nervous than anything else in the show. Oh, and the tan. When I saw streaks coming down, I'm like, oh, let me go and fix it.
Right.
I wanted the tan to look good on me.
Right.
But no, I just stayed focused.
When they put that first coat of tan on you, like it went like next level.
Completely different.
You know, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize the importance of tanning when it comes to physique shows. You know, it's critical to have a good tan on stage. You know,
Yes.
and the next day when they put that second coat, like night and day. You know, even something as simple as your tan can enhance the way somebody's physique looks. You know,
Yeah, correct.
So there's a lot of details that go into, fitness competition that people don't ever know about, because most people think it's like you diet and you train. They don't realize that posing is complex, and making sure that your tan is right is complex. Picking the right, shorts for your presentation to match with your skin,
That one was perfect.
So there's a lot that goes into physique competitions that people don't even realize. They literally think that you eat, you train, and then you go on stage and you flex. And it is so much more than that. And the amount of time that you've got to dedicate to something like this. How did you balance out work life, the regimen that you already had, and inserting this new posing regimen that you were practicing? How did you balance that all out? Did you rework your schedule, or how?
No, yeah. So, like unfortunately for me, I have to go to the gym really early in the morning, right? Because if not, my day gets complicated, and the gym is important. I'm the type of guy. When it comes to sleeping, I don't do a good job. So I cannot go to the gym at 5, 6 p.m. I would not sleep that night. Like I'll be wired to 3 a.m, and that just starts a repetitive negative, moment for me that is going to just drain me, and I'm never going to, right? So I just cannot allow that. So when I got home from the gym, if there was good light in my room, if the sun was already up, depending on the time zone, the daylight saving time, I would do quick posing right there after a pump, because I read that's one of the best ways to just see what you were working on. But then definitely it was after work, 5 o'clock, I would go there right here in my couch or in my room, and I'll do my posing. 10 minutes here. You told me, and I took it and I ran with it. Like, come out, do your posing, do it once or twice, but don't keep doing the repetitive thing, because you're just going to keep doing the same mistakes. And by me doing the same mistakes, I am creating a habit that's wrong. So then for me to break that bad habit, so I just wanted to feel more comfortable with whatever I had to do and show it to you. You tell me, no, this arm goes up, this arm goes back. Okay, now let's focus on that. So it was right after working out. If not, it was right after work, before I started like schoolwork and stuff like that.
Awesome. And then how did it feel when you got on stage, like that walkout moment?
It's a blur.
It went fast.
It went fast, So like I had told you guys caught it on film. We were supposed to do our routine, then come out and do the comparisons, and then the finals at night, I guess do it all over again. They switch it on us right then and there, because there was a back and forth for like, we're not doing routines. And right before we got on stage, the the lady that was there said, yeah, you're gonna do your routine. Then a gentleman jumped in there, and when he was letting everybody out, he was like, everybody, let's go. And we're like, a routine? He's like, no, everybody together. And that threw me off. But I try to keep my composure, and I lined up and I did the move that I'm more comfortable with.
Right.
What was comfortable. Even though there was another, pose that might be a little bit better, I know that one I had trouble hitting because I had trouble popping them out sometimes. So I knew the other move was perfect. So I went with that. And like I said, the rest was a blur. Like, obviously, I worked so much on trying to pose my back the right way that when I got up there, I did exactly what I shouldn't have done. And it was something that I kept doing on my own. And it's just, again, your body breaks down and you automatically do what it's safe and your body.
Yeah.
So that's why now I have 2 mirrors, because it does make a difference.
Right.
It does make a difference. So the stage was good. Like I said, it was a blur. It was very fast, very quick. And you guys already had told us with the lights, you can't really see that much. I was only able to see the judges and the first 2 rows. Everything else,
nothing.
I can see if I was to focus on them, I can, but no, like your mind is not there.
Yeah.
The does it all hit you when you walk out, or did it take a minute before you're like, shit, I just did that thing that I said I wasn't gonna do?
Yeah. When I walked out, it hit me like, all right. In my head, I know I didn't do well in this one, right? But I did good enough to the point that I got on stage. But it was a win for me. I wasn't disappointed. And the minute I came down, I was more disappointed in the sense of like, okay, I'm ready for the next show. And the finals, this was in the morning. I still had to get back on stage. And in my mind, I was like, okay, maybe I can fix stuff and challenge it. And when I saw that it was pretty much done, it was just come out, do your routine, and you're done. They already picked the winners or the place. I was like, okay, let me just now. There was no pressure there. There was no pressure of me trying to like do comparisons and try to move up. It was more of like, let's just go out and do the routine, because comparisons to me, I think it's easier because it's just moves, right? It's the routine of like, how am I going to flow into it? Am I going to look, So that's what I really wanted to work on, feel comfortable, and I did. I felt comfortable. So, but yeah, no, that's, I would like to say that in between the morning show and the final, it's when it hit me in the sense of like, you're here, you're doing this, right? You're one of the guys. You're one of the guys in the backstage, and then it was more of like, okay, so how do I perfect this? How do I make this better for me, right? Which is why I was working on stuff. I was, you told me to eat. I was doing exercise. I was doing whatever I had to do. But yeah, but again, it was an amazing experience. So something
that's awesome.
I did.
That's awesome, and so much so that you were talking about your next show there.
Oh, that's it.
When is your next show?
March 25th.
That's right.
That's right back to Flash. I'm gonna wear the same trunks, and I'm just gonna, I just can't wait to compare the pictures.
Yes, I love that.
That's driving. That's my win right there.
100%. That always has to be the goal, to look better than last time, to perform better than last time, to prep better than last time. It's, to me, that's always a win too. Like, what were the wins from one thing to the next? And then when you get an outside win, that's great. But like you said, you versus you.
One of the things I've always said is that when somebody goes on this journey, right, to get to the stage, the goal number 1 is to make it, right? Get on stage. And then once you do it, there's one of 2 outcomes. You either do it and you're like, man, that was cool, I'm glad I did it, check the box. Or you get off stage and you're like, all right, my next show, I'm doing this, I'm, like that. Did you at any point during the prep feel like, all right, like I'm doing this, but this is going to be something that I do again? Or was it like right after getting off stage?
Yeah, no, I would like to say it was once I got on stage. Like, you said something to me that really hit home. I didn't say it, but it was in my head. So, you go back. I'm not one to judge anybody. I don't believe in judging. Be who you are. But I'm walking backstage and I'm looking at different physiques. I'm looking older men, younger men. There was a 60-year-old man there, right, that was sitting next to me in the hallway, and I was talking to him. And I'm noticing all these physiques. And I don't ever, there's a reason why I don't wear tight clothes or stuff like that. I'm not one to like to show off how I am, even though in Instagram videos I'm shirtless, but it's just, that's another topic. But so I started seeing all these physiques. I'm like, yeah, these guys are amazing. These guys are humongous. Look at these arms, look at these backs. But when I'm looking at them, I felt like, give me some time, give me some time, and I won't be Olympia style, but give me some time and I can definitely feel like, okay in here.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I kind of belong until you told me, you look great up there, you belong. And when you told me that, you pretty much planted it right there. Like, yeah, like I belong. Now it's just work on the stuff to improve and just keep coming back at it.
100%. Yeah. When you walk out, like, it was a placing thing. It wasn't like, all right, you look great. We did good work. We ate the food. We trained. You look awesome. It was like, all right, where is he falling here? Because, and the thing is that it's tough to judge good physiques because everybody looks good.
Of course.
I don't know if you saw the Olympia last week, but, judging men's physique is hard, because there's so much quality, right? And they're all different. Tall guy, shorter guy, wider guy, narrower guy, harder guy, there's so many different things. But the key is always, I think, as an athlete to get up there, and obviously it's all subjective and it's the opinion of, the 5 or 7 judges that are there, but to feel good about the package that you bring is always really important. But then to look around the room and say, shit, this is my first show and I belong here is a massive victory, and I'm glad that you walked out and already had in your mind, like the next show I want to come in better, because, on this side, it's always like, we want to do all we can for that first show, but I already know leaving that, like, there's so much more we can do, right? Just time is on our side. And it's hard to understand how important it is to actually do the shows until you've done them, because you'll never feel like you're 100% ready for that first one if you're always picking it apart and you don't do it, because you can always find flaws. My calves can be bigger, my shoulders can be rounder, my arms can be harder. And where you improve is from show to show. You have to get on stage to improve. Now you can take windows of time and say, I want to get better, in the next 20 weeks, 30 weeks, 6 months, 12, but you got to get back on stage, because the stage is the thing that keeps you on the path.
Yeah.
Right.
Even somebody as disciplined as you that's doing the things, the stuff to be meticulous about and the phases throughout prep where things change in a way to bring out more of your physique are not there if you don't have that goal.
Yeah, not to mention, there's so much magic in working towards something that's for you. Like, we all work toward work goals and, family things and relationship things, and maybe we buy a house, we remodel the house, we plan a trip, but it's cool to have something that's your own. And like you said, you kind of have to go to war with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to get anything out of it that you didn't put in, and only you know what you put in and what you didn't. And so it is one of those things that, builds that reputation with yourself and that confidence, not because of the abs, but because of what you're doing day in and day out. And it's the one thing that, like you were saying about Annie, when you watched her, like, this is for her, like, how cool. So it's like, as adults, we say it all the time, a lot of times we don't have a thing for us. Like, you might like to watch football, or, you might go play basketball with your friends every Sunday, like, who knows? But what is something that you do for you that has constant growth and evolving and, like, looking forward to and planning for and, working toward every day is so important. And most adults don't have that. They might have hobbies that they like. They don't necessarily have things that they're doing for them that are outside of, like, their work.
Yeah, no, I agree, because giving yourself, first things first, you have to give yourself a stage date, right? Like, I agree with that. That's why the minute we sat down, it was already in my mind. I just didn't know about any other shows. I didn't know what shows were coming up. We sat down, we had a drink. You said, oh, the next one here is going to be March 25th. I'm there. That's it.
Done.
I was like, can you get me there? And you're like, yeah, okay, then this is because it was exactly like 20 weeks out. I was like, all right, there. I ain't wasting no time. I already have a date for my next one. Like that's already planted, right? And it's not 20 weeks out, like depending on you guys' schedule, but I already have a date for the next one. But they will be a next one because there's no way that I can get to where I want to get to with this prep.
And let me say in any way, not just physique, because also the posing I know is something that you've mentioned, and a lot of the girls say it to me. The best way to improve your posing is to have continuous stage time. It's not how much you practice only. It's not how many sessions you have only. It's how many times have you stepped on stage and done it wrong or done it different or watched your video back or gotten more comfortable, right? So it's like, no, you're not gonna have all the improvements that you want in your physique, in your performance, in your tan, in your shorts, in your everything after one show or two or three. Like it's a constant evolution.
The biggest thing there is you have to walk through the door, right? You have to do the thing. You're not gonna know what's on the other side until you walk through the door. When I first, true story, so I'm not working in the ER anymore, but when I was an ER nurse, there was moments that on crazy day in the ER, I would doubt myself. Like I will be in the parking lot and I'm like, should I call out? Like it's gonna be a bad day today. I don't wanna be like stuck with these ICU patients or sticking needles and like today I don't wanna do that. Then you have to talk to yourself, be like, where is this coming from, right? Where is this fear coming from? So obviously, I don't answer myself, but I talk to myself. And I was like, no, just do it. Just go out there. And if you need help, you say, I need help.
Right.
Or I started doing it in the ER, right? And I loved it. You know, I had a fear of something, but until I don't continue to do it, I'm not gonna get any good at it. Same thing with the stage. This next time up, I wanna do a better routine and be more calm until the point that the stage becomes so slow that you realize this is like nothing to me. But if you don't keep getting on there, you're never gonna get there. Some people might automatically get there and be that type of way. That's not me.
Yeah.
But I will get there the more I get on stage, because I see like in Olympia when I saw some of the reels, these guys go up there, they're having a good time, but they're just calm. They do everything flawless. While you can tell in the NPC show, we're all amateurs, we're all learning. Some guys have 10 shows. They come in and they rush certain things or they look awkward. You know, I look, it's just normal. You just have to keep going out there. And you can't go one show a year because then you're never going to really get there.
No way. You got to continuously get out there.
And again, it's such a great opportunity to work on you, you know, and it's something that's tangible and measurable, and you can make improvements on an ongoing basis, doing something that's just good for you. You're eating well, you're exercising in a way that makes you feel good, you're improving the way you look. Like there's nothing but benefits, in my opinion, to this type of goal and the journey. And there's, like anything else, there are phases. There are phases of the year where you are training in a way that's going to support one part of your goal, and there are phases where it supports another part. So it doesn't present the opportunity for it to be stagnant either, because there are always different parts of the journey.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that you've done it, right? Like go back to that when you first got asked about whether or not you should compete or were you competing.
Years ago.
Because there's a lot of people that watch and listen and they see our stuff online and they're like, man, I wish I could do something like that, but not me. You know, that's not my thing. What does this version of you that's just, you know, done the show and getting ready for another one say to the person on the other side that's, you know, maybe having the same thoughts that you were having?
Like I don't have the confidence on my way.
It's something I tell my son this all the time. Just look in the mirror. Look at the mirror and who are you? And why do you think you want to do something, right? If you think you want to do something for fitness, or again, it has to be with, like, what I'll tell anybody is, and this is something I've learned as I've gotten older, you have to be aligned with who you are and your purpose. So if your reason of getting on a show is because you just want to be looking good, that's not the right alignment, because then tomorrow you look bad. And then what do you have to hold on to, right? So it's really, what do you want for yourself? You want to be physically fit, you want to eat better, you want to put yourself out there and show that you can do things. Well, this is the perfect journey for that, because not only not only are you going against yourself, so don't look at anybody else. Not only are you either lying to yourself or you're saying the truth to yourself, right? Did you really have those 5 ounces, or did you have something that you were not supposed to have and you didn't report it, right? Are you working out hard, or you're not really working out? Because when it comes to the day of the results and you don't want to either do the show or you kind of back out, you're really just quitting on yourself. And what this teaches you, at least what it's taught me, you never quit on yourself. You believe in yourself and you move forward.
100%.
So, yeah, so that the old me was worried, but it was really more me worried of failing, right? Me worried failing myself. Forget who's judging me. Now I know I'm not failing myself. Now I just want more. I want more positivity about myself so I can grow more. Because if I shine, if I keep doing good for myself, the first person is going to rub off is my son, which is the most important one, Annie, my family, and then anybody else that's watching me.
100%.
So find yourself, be confident with yourself, humble, and watch what you can do for yourself, right?
100%.
Yeah, I love that too, because once you do something hard or out of your comfort zone once, like the doors of possibilities open up, because you're like, well, if I can do that, then what else can I do, right? Or can I do it again, or can I do it better? So it just opens up those doors that were so shut before because you didn't have the even the thought of like, could I do that? I always like to ask in the end, what has been the most impactful part of this whole journey and that whole experience for you?
Well, I would say it's brought me really close with Annie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like we have a common goal, a common bond, and it's pretty cool. We don't do the same things, we don't do it together, but we do have the same goals, and having someone you can share that with rather than going on a date and be like, I can't eat that. Oh my God, he eats something like this, right? You know, I think that's been the best part of this journey for me, because everything else that's gone on with me, I already had it. I just didn't know how to take it out. Right. But something that's more meaningful, and this would have never happened if I didn't do this, was that strong relationship I definitely had with Annie. Support her. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
That's so cool. This was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Everybody, this is exactly why we like chatting with the athletes, so that you can get their take on it. Everybody has different journeys, different experiences, different roads, but at the end, the outcome is always to make it there. So, Jadiam, thank you for being on the show with us. We appreciate it. We're going to put your IG in the show notes and on the YouTube page. You guys go follow Jadiam. He, like he said, he does daily reels or weekly reels on things that you can do at home. And for all of you that are watching, that are listening, please like, share, comment, ask questions. If you have any questions for him, put them in the comment section. We'll send them his way. And it was great chatting with you. I can't wait to have you on the show again.
I know.
So that we can talk about your second road to the stage and all the improvements that we make along the way.
Yes.
No, thank you so much. I'll send you a text now with my food.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Thank you.